Keep your word. It might be obvious to you. You might take keep your word for granted. Because what, are we all supposed to be a bunch of liars? Like, the opposite of keeping your word is making false commitments. And sometimes people make false commitments in a strategic way. They want to mislead other people so that it gives them some kind of asymmetric information advantage. We shouldn't have to say, keep your word. But it turns out to be more complicated than that. In a lot of families, in a lot of environments, we say things we don't really mean. And we do it either to be polite or to avoid conflict, or we do it as a matter of custom. We should totally really get together. What's going to happen? You're never going to see that person again. Oh, I really like that. What does it mean? They don't give a shit, but they want to be polite. We have a way of playing social games with one another. A little ego stroke for you, a little dopamine hit for you, and these are not real commitments. These are at best false well, maybe at worst false commitments. At best, just little ego strokes that we give one another that don't mean a damn thing. Keeping your word should be easy enough to understand as a way of avoiding creating false expectations in others. But what's really hard is the corollary. Take other people at their word. What happens when someone says, I'll be there, I'll get it done? When we work in environments where false commitments are the norm, we immediately begin to spin our energy trying to cover our own ass for when they let us down. He's not going to show up. Yeah, he'll get it done, but he's going to half-ass it, and then I'm going to have to clean it up. We start to reserve space in our creative energy for the passive-aggressive false commitments that we're accustomed to from others. What's really hard is to take them at their word, because we are habituated to working in these passive-aggressive, sometimes sarcastic, sometimes disingenuous environments in which other people are not keeping their word. And when we allow other people to work with us in a way in which they're not accountable for what they've said, we've created a culture in which there is no expectation of explicit commitment. We've created a culture in which false commitments are tolerated and okay. And we've re-entered the feedback loop of the dysfunctions of the team. Greater specificity and alignment of the gig or the gamification of incentives is not the answer. You don't have to construct an environment of keeping people accountable for their word when you give them a 2-star review and they get kicked off of the app. But in a startup environment where things are ambiguous and uncertain, you must rely upon people to do the things that they said they're going to do or tell you that they've changed their mind. Otherwise, you can't coordinate. Can you think of an example in which people or you have failed to keep their word and it's created problems?
So to call somebody earlier this week and I didn't, and possibly, it's not like a big problem, but like if I would have called him on Wednesday when I was supposed to, it would have, the timing would have aligned perfectly, I would have been able to push the project forward, and now I'll have to wait another week.
It's a good example. Often we work in a culture in which we make false commitments to one another, and it's really just an exercise in the inventiveness of our excuses. Oh yeah, let's get together, let's do a workshop on Thursday. But then we let it slip, and then we let it slip, and we allow, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday, we allow people to be creative in the excuses for why they're not going to do the thing that everybody was enthusiastic about and really wanted to do when they planned it in the first place. That culture of creative excuse making rather than commitment making is anathema to the startup culture.